All right, here we go with the high noon edition of Pugs and Company Part 2. We had a technical issue beginning things. Let's bring in just to see if the problem was on James's end. We tried it at noon and we had a little bit of a sound problem. So let's see if that was it. Let's bring in E. E's here now. E.
Hey.
He's here. Okay. E works good. Now, fingers crossed. Oh, I can see the look on James's face. James is worried that it might be a him issue now. Here we go. And James, welcome in. No. Look at him. Can you see him? He's going nuts. It's I don't know, man. I don't know what's happening. Is your microphone on? Yeah, well, you know, his animated explanation of what's happening doesn't do us any good. Can you hear him, E?
I cannot.
You cannot hear him. I cannot hear him. Can people in the chat room hear him? Let's see here. See him, no sound. Okay, it's a James issue. All right, yeah, we've established that it's a you issue. Why don't you just call me?
Now.
There you go.
What did you do? What did you do?
No, it was the audio input on the restream window. I had checked my Windows, my browser, my OBS. It was this one.
Oh, look at you. Oh, I'm so proud. So proud that you were able to figure it out.
Is your OBS your Odell Beckham Sr.?
That's yeah. That's what else would they call the program?
I'm also very pleased to learn that we were able to come to this reclamation of the issue. I guess I don't know. Wait, is that the proper word? Reclamation, resolution, certainly. But I was looking for something a little fancier. We were able to come to this issue without calling Ed, who is 100 yards away in his room. He didn't really. Is he here? Is Ed even here?
Yes, he's downstairs.
Typically, he would volunteer his services for this sort of thing, but he didn't. All right, so here's what we're going to do on today's show. By the way, programming note you'll see at the bottom of the screen. Tonight begins the first little experimentation. We're going to see if the Pillow Talk edition is more of a suitable fit for those involved. If it begins at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time instead of 10 p.m. Central Standard Time when it had been beginning. It'll help me a little bit. I assume that someone like E who wakes up with the crack of dawn, it may serve your needs slightly better. I'm hoping. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't sleep much, so I don't really care.
Hey, what do you put the chat over in the margin? Wait.
Here. There you go. I'm going to fix that.
Now we got people actually talking.
There we go. Okay, back over there.
All now it's in full screen and still see the chat.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. When I woke up this morning, I looked at the trending topics, and that's what we do here on High Noon. We talk about all the things that are trending, everything that people are going on about on this, James, the 305th day of the year. It's when I do this. 305th day of the year, 60 days. Just do the simple math. 365 days in a year, 60 days remaining in the year 2021. And most importantly, because this is trending, 54 days until Christmas. 54 days left until Christmas. Do you know why Christmas is trending? We'll just get into this right now. We'll just jump ahead of it. Christmas is trending because people are already officially, I guess, after Halloween now. It's been decided by people on Twitter and Facebook and whatnot. It's been decided that the day after Halloween is the official beginning of the Christmas season.
Yeah.
And we're just jumping over Thanksgiving.
Yes. Yeah. There's no such thing as the Thanksgiving season. Thanksgiving is just a weekend. It's a 4-day weekend. Christmas is an actual season.
Emil just made a noise that is very reminiscent of his dog. His dog makes that noise.
Oh, it sounded like Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino. And the monk kid was talking to him.
What was that audible expulsion of air all about? Was that about the hurried rush for Christmas season, or just overall ennui with life itself?
No, I don't know. I guess I made a noise.
Yeah, a loud one.
Body language, Emil. Body language.
Yeah. You not have your coffee this morning. You seem a little bit.
It was a late night last night.
Yeah, it was.
What happened last night?
Oh my God!
Come on, dude. Like Halloween.
Oh, in the Cowboy game, and then did y'all do a show after that?
No,
No.
no, no. I am not doing well today either. So I appreciate both of you being here.
Oh, this is a hangover issue.
No, I don't drink. I really don't drink. I drink very little. I don't
my
drink.
God.
I don't do anything. I think that's what it is. I think my body is now beginning to revolt over the lack of toxins that I'm putting in there. Although the toxins that I'm putting in there with, I had mashed potatoes yesterday. That can't be good. that can't be good.
Why not? Mashed potatoes is just regular old food.
Yeah, but I don't know. I've been regularly eating instant food that is microwave friendly, and I think today, November 1st, this is the start of the new me. This is the start of my new. I have new things to be excited about. I'm going to be. Well, you know what? You know what today is? First of all, we like to tell you what today is. Today is Happy Native American / Indigenous Peoples Day.
I thought that was Columbus Day.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I
Well,
think
good job on all your great inventions. You know,
What?
and contributions to science and culture and history.
Native American? Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying?
Yeah, congratulations. All the
Okay.
innovations and inventions and scientific advancements you made. Good job.
Like
Proud of you.
filtration of water and streams and canals. You know, all you have to do is go back to Columbian society back in 1,000 years ago. If you've never seen the mounds, you've never seen the city of.
That's what I'm
Cuyahoga.
saying. That's what I'm
You know, you're
saying.
being a smart ass.
Oh,
You're being
am
a
I?
racist
Now, who's
white
interpreting
man.
that as a smart ass,
Oh,
and
you
who
wanna
does that
start?
make to
I'm
the
in a
corporate
mood to
culture?
start. You want to?
No, the problem is they just didn't keep good records like the Romans, so we really don't know a whole lot of what they did. But that in East St. Louis, over by where you're from, in
Yeah,
Illinois, they have
Cahokia.
these giant mounds, and then
Yeah.
they did the samples on the dirt, and they're like, this dirt is from like 800 miles that
No,
way.
Alex Jones, who did the samples on the dirt that you're citing here. All right,
No,
we're
no, it
moving
wasn't
on.
an Alex
We're
Jones
moving
thing.
on. We're not going to shit on indigenous people just
I'm
because you're a
not.
racist white man. Yeah, you
No,
are.
I'm not. Look,
you
I'm not
fill a
grouping
role
them
on
all.
the
Look,
show.
there-
You fill the role of the racist white man, so I'm going to let
I
you
am
go.
not the racist. I just congratulated them on all their scientific advancements. They had a more advanced calendar than we did, and it looks like a big old dinner plate.
All right, you know what? Because I'm a decent human, I will hold that possibly I misinterpreted what I perceived to be snark.
How about this? Did the Irish make any pyramids like Chichen Itza?
No.
Okay.
No, the Irish didn't do anything except fight the British for 1,000 years. That's all they did. They were an enslaved people. And by the way, the Irish are the only people who the British tried to colonialize who they couldn't. And they were only 90 miles away.
They
Think about
owned you. They owned you for quite a bit.
Not peacefully. It didn't go the way India went. It didn't go the way Africa went. It didn't go the way Egypt went. I'm saying.
Okay.
Oh, I'm just saying. Okay. Also, it's International Cheese Day. Cheese lovers, raise your hand. I'm
Big
a
fan.
cheese lover. Although,
Emil, you don't like cheese?
Yeah, I mean,
see what I mean? He's like, he found the world's last remaining stash of Quaaludes. What's going on?
I mean, cheese is like it's not like a soul food. It's like cheese is like an add-on food. So
Okay.
like just cheese all by itself.
James, you want to pummel him to a mess?
No, look,
Or should I?
for the most part, cheese is sort of a complementary thing to another food item. You know, you put cheese on your baked potato, you put cheese on your burger. It's usually not the food itself.
Cheese makes everything better.
Kinda.
Like
I don't think it'd be.
wife. Cheese is the trophy wife of food. It makes everything better.
That's pretty good. But you know, you wouldn't put it on like a birthday cake or
Yeah, like I think
Cheesecake.
bacon stands alone, although it's a complementary food, whereas cheese does not stand for me like bacon.
For you, you qualified it, and I'll.
Well, but I'm just saying, like
qualification.
it's a complementary food, but it's not one that has two legs standing on its own. It, in my opinion, only has one. Where bacon stands proud, complementary or alone.
Now here's where the cheese shines, and it's in two facets. Number one is the cheese board, the charcuterie board.
Charcuterie. Oof,
Yeah, I can't. I'll never be able to spell that, but I like eating off of them. And that's where cheese can do things that other foods can't, because there's 1,000 different cheeses, and you could really identify, probably you and me, like 12 different ones just by looking at it.
Dude, I grew up miles from the Wisconsin border. I could probably rattle off 100 kinds of cheeses.
Well, I could probably name more than 12, but on eyesight, I could say that's a little Parmesan, that's a Munster, that's your regular old mozzarella balls.
I could name 10 Italian cheeses.
Yeah,
So,
but
if you have true,
You cheese hater.
I know, right?
Go
I'm
ahead,
not
James.
a cheese hater. It's just like,
Sounds like
okay, bacon, you can do several strips of bacon. Cheese on the cheese board, I get it. You might like go up there and, foo-foo your way into one or two. But like beyond that, you're just cheesed out. The same cheese has basically got the same standing in my book as guacamole. Like guacamole, okay, again, is strong for like about 1 or 2 bites, but you can't just be spooning guac into your mouth without a chip or without something else.
No, I've done that. I made my own guacamole and ate it. Just
Yeah, I
ate a
too.
bowl of
But
it.
like just too much of it. It's like cheese. Like you just kind of ooked.
All right, but
One last thing I'll say on this. Guac, though, then when it is added to the food, takes over the main role, and the chip then becomes complementary. Whereas with cheese never really takes over. It's always the added food, but still then you want the meat with the cheese on top. You don't look at the cheese as the better flavor. You look at the meat, at least I do. The meat is the better flavor, even though the cheese is there.
Well,
The
the other side.
Go ahead. He raises an important point that I think we need to all drill down on, although I'll let James finish. The chip, especially the Mexican chip, the nacho chip, is truly just a vehicle for whatever it's being dipped in. No, the nacho chip alone, without some sort of, I'm excluding Doritos and Takis and stuff like that are flavored on there. The nacho chip alone is pretty lame. So he is right when it comes like guacamole. But could you eat guacamole with just a spoon? I know James said he did, but honestly, that's just something that you use a chip as a vehicle for. James, your thoughts?
Yeah, and the other side where cheese shines, it really does fit in this argument, is in its role as nacho cheese, as queso.
Fantastic.
And so that's when everybody is excited to see it, that it's awesome, and you can do a lot with it. You can put a can of Rotel in it to make it actual, salt, like nacho cheese. You can do the
That's cheater
meat in
cheese,
it,
though.
chili con queso.
How is that cheater cheese? What do you mean cheater cheese? Explain.
It's not cheese by itself, then. It's cheese getting helped with some
It is.
other additive.
Yeah, but here you have the meat complementing the cheese and not the cheese complementing the meat, a la cheeseburger.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like,
does.
cheese is all dairy. Like, that's cheese. When you start adding like jalapeno cheese or salsa to the cheese spread, you've already combined something. You've given it an added benefit. Bacon, you don't have to do that. Just like bacon is bacon. Like, I don't care if bacon's wrapped around a steak or bacon's wrapped around a jalapeno or bacon's wrapped around, I don't know. What are the other things they wrap? They wrap it around everything.
Here's what I love about the chemistry between the three of us. When I was writing down the notes for today's show and the rundown that what we were going to be talking about, I never anticipated cheese to be a controversial subject. Never. I assumed it would just receive universal applause.
I didn't know I would run into such anti-cheese bigotry from a co-host.
Yeah, I didn't either. And I have to tell you
Ridiculous.
that on this National Cheese, here, it's National Indigenous People Day. We got James shitting on the Indigenous people.
I said nothing but
Cheese
nice
Day.
things about
We got
them.
Emil shitting on the cheese people. It's also Happy World Vegan Day. Gentlemen,
Oh, my God.
That's something we can all agree on, right? Screw those people, the vegans out there.
Here's the thing about vegans. They're like, well, ever since I started eating vegan, I lost 60 pounds. Yeah, because you're dying. You can't just cut out an entire food group and be like, I'm healthy. No, you're not.
Your body is eating itself to survive. That's why you're losing weight.
You look like you just walked over the Andes.
Oh,
have either of you guys ever tried to go vegan or to a lesser extent vegetarian?
Oh yeah, just for funsies. I did vegetarian for like a month.
How long did it last? A month? You say?
A month. And I did it for a month, and it sucked.
Yeah, I did it too. I did it right after I had my heart incident. I thought I'm gonna change everything about myself. It was like
you had a heart incident.
Yeah, I had a heart injury. And then like 2 weeks after the venture into the world of vegetarianism where I was just eating bags of green beans every night, I was like, I'd rather die. I would rather just die than have to sit here and eat this I mean, food, one of the reasons that life is worth living is food. Food brings so much joy, and we take it for granted that once we're restricted to only a certain area of food, what's the point? It's just there's nothing to look for. How many times have you known that something, think of yourself as a kid, okay? How many times have you known that mom was making something good for dinner and you looked forward to it all day? That's a very real human connection. That's a very real human emotion. And when you know that you can't have anything but green vegetables, bleh, life is just, it loses its zest.
What I've got to say about the whole vegan thought process is the minute you got to tell me that something that you're eating tastes like something else,
Yeah.
you are already admitting, whether you want to admit it or not, that what you're eating sucks. Because why would you be hunkering back? It's like, oh man, I really like the way my new girlfriend, does something. It's almost like my old girlfriend back there. I mean, no, dude,
That's
you're
a
stuck
great
back
metaphor.
there.
Great metaphor, Emil. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Because I notice in that behavior, it really bothers me that they're like, I don't want to eat meat anymore. So what are you eating for dinner? Well, I got some good options here. I could get like tofu bacon, or I could get this tofu turkey, or I've got this soy pork chop, or I've got this. Hang on, man. Sounds like you want to eat meat.
Right.
It sounds like you're just denying yourself what you want.
Right, exactly. And then it's like, oh, well, you can get these types of mushrooms and they have the texture of steak. My ass. Like,
yeah, no, I've had the mushrooms that double as steak. They don't. They don't double as steak.
Hey,
They-
to
they-
be fair, I like a lot of that food. There's a couple of good vegan restaurants that turn tofu into crazy awesome stuff, and I'll eat that.
okay,
But
once in a while.
right.
That's
Oh, no,
something-
once in a
that's
while. But I'm
something to
telling you,
try.
all these vegetarians and these vegans, whatever facade they put on their super ego, the face that they put to the world, on the inside, their body is like, meat, meat. God damn it, eat some protein, eat an animal, eat something with a face.
Look, hey, if you I judge no person by how they choose to live their life. I'm just telling you that for me, that would be depriving me of one of life's joys, which is the endlessly wonderful world of sampling all kinds of foods.
Well, and Ann's got a good point over in the comments. Maybe we shouldn't be taking nutritional advice from the man who just admitted to only eating instant microwave food.
Hey,
Yeah.
those things cost 49 cents a bag. Okay, that's why they're
Let's do a
easy to
monologue.
cook. No, we got to do our moment.
James, you did mention my one ookiest food ever, tofu. Like,
Never
to
had.
me, that is like food mung. Like when you cook meat and that white kind of like foam kind of boils out of it, like, oh, I almost like, I think if I ate some actual tofu, I would throw up. Like, I don't know. There's just something about it to me. The texture, the consistency, the fact that it's not really anything, but it's supposed to taste like something else. Like, it just feels like manufactured. Ugh.
Have either of you guys ever had the Impossible Burger?
No, again, that's like saying, oh, it's like sleeping with my old girlfriend, kinda.
No, but I mean, have you've never tried it? Like, you've never been curious to even try it?
Why would you?
Yeah. No, me neither. I mean, look, I'm curious to try it. If somebody put one in front of me, I'd take a bite of it. But yeah, I just have to curl my nose at the people who go, it tastes just like a burger. Well, you've never had a good hamburger then.
Have y'all ever thought about the paradox of the Impossible Burger? Because in like the 90s or maybe the 2000s or whatever, there was some report that came out that the McDonald's hamburger is only 83% beef and it's about 70% this soy filler, right? And so now the Impossible Burger is just all filler. It's all the stuff that the filler was made of. So they've taken the thing that they used to gripe about is like, they wanted 100% beef and this is like 17% this soy filler. and that was bad. But now you got 100% soy filler hamburger, and that's good.
Well, look, if the McDonald's hamburger from the 1970s was essentially an Impossible Burger of today, then, maybe I will try it. Because those 70s McDonald's burgers were fine. I loved them as a kid. No arguments from me. And James, you're right. Let's get into it. Huh? How about we do a little monologue here? James Parker, I thought we'd do this at night.
Yeah, I know. I was like, are we in
we do, but since I didn't get to do one last night, I have one sitting. I'll have another one tonight. And you mentioned last week that we should do one for the day show. So this will be their sample.
Did I? I need to pay attention to myself. All right, welcoming in to the guest house, Tiki Lounge here, high atop the 1%er compound in beautiful Highland Park, Dallas, Texas. The Comedy Stylings, the man, the myth, the legacy. 70 years of entertaining audiences from coast to coast. We welcome in the one, the only, Mr. James McCormick Parker.
Thank you. Where's the applause? There's no love? All right, fine.
You don't hear the applause?
Okay, there it is. Yeah, it's just a little low. Hang on, let me turn my headphones up there. All right, brace yourself. Bad economic news. The bottom is now falling out of the pumpkin market. Bad start. All right. Childhood obesity.
Wait, hold on. That was a joke? That wasn't a joke.
No, I think that you just got to start the set with a grenade. Just roll a bomb out there. Childhood obesity is on the rise, and it's no wonder. On Halloween last night, I gave an overweight kid the Snickers bar. He asked me to deep fry it.
I like that one.
Yeah,
that one's good. Everything's better deep fried.
Sad news here. Miss America 1942, Jo Carol Dennison passed away over the weekend at the age of 97. Her duties will be assumed by 1942's first runner-up. Oh, y'all don't like pageant jokes.
They didn't get it. It was a thinker. You had to think about that one. You had to, because it's funny because.
No. Happy birthday to Tom Gimbel. You know who he's from? Thom, T-H-O-M, Tom Gimbel.
Does he have something to do with the gimbal mechanism?
No, he's from Foreigner. I don't want to say. Yeah. Happy birthday. It's his birthday, though. Happy birthday. I don't want to say he's getting old, but he and the band have a new song called Feels Like the First Time I Fell and I Couldn't Get Up.
Oh. All right. Old
kind
people.
Kind of a wordy song, but,
Yeah.
Probably good. Probably a good song. On Halloween, I answered the door last night. There was a kid that was lying on my porch. Had like a little blood around him, playing dead. I said, "What are you supposed to be?" He said, "John Gruden's career."
Oh, woo!
It is dead. Man, and children are so mean these days. Like even on Halloween, you think it's just a fun time. You run around trick or treating. But I saw this story where kids in Highland Park were bullying a boy dressed as a ghost because his sheet had such a low thread count. It's like,
oh my God, look at that. That's a burn on rich people. That's
low thread counts. What a bunch of losers. And finally, we'll make fun of rich people. Let's make fun of poor people too. Poverty, persistent problem in America. To give you an idea of how bad it is, on Halloween, kids in Mesquite were bobbing for water.
All right. And now, what do we bring on now? Now we bring on what? Burlesque dancers, right? Isn't that how that would go if we're doing it in the Tiki Lounge here? It'd be James doing bad comedy followed by burlesque dancers. All right, let's see here. How about now we do another staple of the show? We give you your moment of joy. Huh? This is a nice one. This is one that, I don't know. This will not be for everybody, but I thought this was pretty nice. I love good teamsmanship, right? I love it when people support their teammates. Well, how about this, huh? Did you see this? Did you see Dak Prescott? Look at Dak welcoming or congratulating Cooper Rush on the big victory. Look at this. Here comes Dak. Hamstring hurting him. Big hug. That's Stephen Jones being a jock sniffer, as the Joneses are. That was nice. Good game last night. I did not think that Cooper Rush was going to win that game last night.
I remember that. What was that on like Friday show? There's no way Cooper Rush is going to start. This is what these teams do. And if you fall for this, you're an idiot. Oh,
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, I was shocked, but so was Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth. They
Well,
kept talking the whole game about how Dak was warming up. Dak looked great. Dak, they were shocked. Everyone was shocked that he wasn't going to play. He was doing all the thing, the hip thing that he does, the famous Dak dance, and he was throwing bullets and dimes. And then after that, he walks over to the sideline, talks to Steve and Jerry and someone who I assume was the team doctor, and they went. Coach McCarthy was there as well, and then they put him on blocks. And now either that is a serious disrespect for the Minnesota Vikings, which I, as a Bears fan, completely get, or there's something wrong with him. I mean, did you see him running up to Cooper? He was kind of hobbling like something weird. I don't know. Look, they beat a bad team.
Let's watch his hobble. Go back and let's look at his hobble again.
See if
I
he's
did not
again?
see that.
All right, here.
But
It looks, I may be reading into it, but certainly Dak doesn't look spry. He looks like an old man with a hip replacement. Here you go. Can we see it? Yeah, there it is. Okay, so here, let's watch it one more time. Watch Dak come running up. Okay, there's Cooper. Look at that.
Yeah, okay, look.
Am I wrong?
Look, I was a college minor in college.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you. All right, go ahead. What now?
It's his left calf. I know limbs.
Yeah, I don't know. Could you tell from that? I mean, there was a little bit of
I can. It was his left calf. It might be his Achilles, but it's somewhere between the back of his ankle and the back of his knee. He's got something pulled.
Okay.
That's the motion you do.
Hopefully he'll be all right.
And it's on his left leg.
He also appeared, and Cowboy fans, tell me if you got this as well. When they showed the video of him on the sidelines after his warm-up, talking to the doctor and Jerry and Steven and Mike McCarthy, Dak looked like he wanted to play. Dak looked like he was really bummed out when the doctor said whatever the doctor said. And then, so they must be really concerned.
How about that Cooper?
I don't think they're as concerned as they were trying to make sure that an injury that's not totally heals, so it's not reoccurring later on down the road. I mean, there's things with hamstrings and calf muscles and things like that you get back 80%, 70%, 90%, but you're just not 100% back. You still do some favoring.
You are a fan of the New York Yankees. You know about how treacherous hamstrings can be to an athlete. Your team was haunted by hamstrings all season long. So were my White Sox. I mean, and I guess what the Cowboys were looking at in the grand scheme of things is they looked down at their division. They had a game to give. I'm just shocked that the game that they decided would be the game to give would be on Halloween night on national TV on Sunday.
But it looks like a genius move now. I mean, who thought Cooper Rush was going to play that well?
Not I.
Nobody.
I didn't.
And so he comes out and he has a game like he has. I mean, after watching that performance, I wouldn't be surprised to see him maybe start this week.
I was not surprised. I was surprised that Cooper Rush played the way he did. I was not surprised at how bland Kirk Cousins was. Kirk Cousins.
But that is Kirk Cousins.
He's a boring, bland game manager who makes $100 million a year. No, not that much, but he makes a ridiculous amount of money. And the Minnesota Vikings have tied themselves to this guy who has never. I mean, he was a. Let's not get into Minnesota Vikings talk, but boy, oh boy, when I saw Cooper, you know what it is? It's Kellen Moore. It's got to be Kellen Moore. This dude, that offensive scheme, when a Cooper Rush is dropping back and throwing 40-yard passes downfield to wide open wide receivers, that tells me that there's an offensive scheme that's working. Because CeeDee Lamb was open every single play he was thrown the ball, and not just open. He was wide open. Maybe it's just CeeDee Lamb, but I honestly think Kellen Moore is not going to be a Dallas Cowboys offensive coordinator next year. Kellen Moore is going to get his own team because he has turned this Cowboys offense into one of the most spectacular offenses I've seen in years. This is reminiscent of the way the Kansas City Chiefs offense played a couple of years ago. This is really a tight offense.
Yeah, I mean, Cowboys offense this year, and last year was not the problem. I think the defense this year, being able to keep them in games while they can score that many games, is why you're looking at a 6-1 record.
Yeah, and I would say that the defense is playing better than expected because the defense was expected to be trash, but I still don't think
Yes.
the defense is as good as, say, Buffalo's defense. I mean, I don't think the defense is a top-tier defense, although they are playing like it. They
Well,
certainly are.
yeah, I mean, if you take away a lot of those stupid penalties last night,
Undisciplined penalties.
I mean, just undisciplined penalties, they had a hell of a game. You do what? I think Gregory had 3 personal fouls. Was it 3 in that one last drive? I know he had at least 2, but I think it was
all 15-yarders.
Yeah, 3. I mean, he gave away 45 yards in half a football field.
The only way Kirk Cousins was able to move downfield was through that shit. That guy, but the defense, man, they shut down. Why do I keep saying Diggs? No, not Diggs. They shut down
Jefferson or Adam Thielen?
No. Well, they shut down Thielen too. Thielen had one big play that I saw, but the running back,
Cook?
Dalvin Cook. Yeah, they shut down Dalvin Cook, which was impressive. I mean, because he's a damn fine running back. So I don't know. It was a good game. It was a good win without Dak. And, okay, so hopefully he'll be okay. Now, the question is, did he get hurt in practice last week, or is this now the second week with the bye that he's had to take care of the hamstring? Do we know?
No, he got hurt at the end of the last game.
Okay, so that was 2 weeks ago. So this has now been 2 weeks of him being able to sort of, not have to take any game.
Yeah, it was the last play of the game when he was hobbled and he scored. They scored and he got off the field.
All right, let's get into some trending topics. Now, first of all, I'll tease you with all the things we're going to be talking about. We've got celebrities in the news. We've got Steve Buscemi making the news. We've got Christy Swanson making the news. We've got Mark Cuban making the news. We've got more news from the Rust set, the Alec Baldwin film where there was a deadly shooting. We also have news about Cal Penn Kumar from Harold and Kumar. Somebody somewhere found needles in their candy. We'll talk about that as well. We got problems with the airlines. We've got, it depends on your point of view, problems with Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that because that's trending as well. And a whole bunch of other things we need to get into. Let's see here. We've got, I don't want to do a lot of politics stuff, but we don't need to get into that. First and foremost on this National or International Vegan Day, how about we thank McDonald's for bringing the McRib back? The McRib is trending. The McRib is back. I don't know what kind of meat that is. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. That's what kind of meat it is. I start my diet today, just on the day that the McRib comes back. And McDonald's knows that I love the McRib. Are we McRib fans here?
Huge.
Huge.
No.
So you're not a McRib fan?
What's the matter with you?
No, because I read how it's put together.
No, don't do that ever. Don't ever do that.
Well, I had the new You show, dude. That just eliminated those things.
Dude, if you read how babies are made, you'd never want to have sex again. So don't read about how McRibs are made.
No.
Have you ever butchered an animal? Have you ever gone out?
You didn't like that one? Come on. Sperm with eggs and stuff happening inside a uterus.
Blastocytes. Hey, have you ever shot an animal in the woods and then drug it back up and then cut all its skin off and then pulled all its guts out and then chopped it up into little bitty pieces like you're some kind of, axe murderer?
I did the 1 and the 2 or 3. I shot it and gutted it and skinned it. But I never did the body part or the portion of meat dismemberment.
Yeah, butchering it down.
Yeah.
You do that a couple times, and then you see the little mass-produced factory where the McRib comes from. You're like, that's not so bad.
Why? What about it seems similar? I
find the natural thing that humans did for 2 million years of evolution to have to cut some animal open and its guts all fall on you, and you got to slice its throat and drain all the blood out of it, and then you got to cut it into little bitty pieces. You got to rip all its skin off, and it doesn't just come off. It's like knife. Dude.
Well, yeah, but okay, and I guess to my point, how they then take all those parts and somehow assemble them back into this section that looks like the rib, and it's not even close to the rib.
It's delicious.
It's ridiculous.
I don't
I
know.
mean,
I'm with
what's
James
the
on this
point
one.
of making it look like ribs if you're not trying to fool us that it's rib?
Well, but it's everything like gastrointestinal for human beings. I don't know why, but has been made to be gross. Like I can understand why poop's gross. That's the other end. But the intake part, we're so not used to seeing the reality of where meat comes from that we're like children that are like, ew, that's gross. But no,
Uh,
you go
b-
get your own meat and then tell me the McRib's gross.
Well, I think like
It's a good point.
a fair name would be the Mick hot dog. Like, I mean,
Oh, I'm not
essentially,
arguing with that.
Yeah, no. Look, hot dog. You don't even need the Mick hot dog. Hot dogs in general are disgusting.
well,
It's
but
Right.
all
that's what
about the
I'm
way that
saying. It's about the quality of a hot dog. It's not a
okay.
rib by any stretch.
Pork roast, pork loaf, whatever you want to call it.
Pork
I don't
loaf.
care.
I love that.
Yeah,
I
pork
don't care.
loaf is a fair. Yeah, the Mick loaf, the
That's
Mick pork loaf. That
Give me
would
some of that
be.
pink
delicious.
slime too, man. I heard
I
about pink
guarantee you,
slime and it was
sales
good.
would go down if you called it the Mick pork loaf.
Let me tell you something,
It would.
James. James, you hit on something. Pink slime hamburgers are freaking delicious.
What?
They're greasy. They have a flavor that tastes like pink slime. Hey, and guess what? Pink slime apparently is delicious.
It is. Well,
So,
that's not what the industry calls it. That was a pejorative put on, I don't know, by PETA or just someone looking for a shocking news story. But
uh,
in the industry, in the meat industry, butchering industry, they call it finely textured ground beef. Not nearly as scary
right.
as pink slime.
All right. All
Finely
right. We are
textured,
coming
my
out of
man.
Halloween now. Let's move on. The McRib is back. We've all stated our case on the McRib. Too much barbecue sauce though. That's my one thing on the McRib. When I get a McRib, I have to take a napkin and I have to wipe off the top layer of barbecue sauce because they're just doing way. I want the taste of the pig loaf.
They're
That's what.
doing that for me. I'm the one who likes the ton of barbecue sauce on it. I
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Too much.
It
Barbecue.
needs to like sop up in the bread a little bit, make the bread a little soggy. Yeah, I
All right.
like extra barbecue.
All right, moving on. Halloween is trending. Now, last night I was trying to update all my friends. Nobody seemed to give a care about the running tally that was going on Twitter. There was a Twitter site that had the costume of the year, which was, people would log in what they saw most of. What was. So here we have the top 3 Halloween costumes of the year. Okay, you have a guess? Anybody have a guess? James?
Squid Games?
Squid Games was number 2. Squid Game characters, which is kind of unfair because that embodies a whole bunch of different costumes. You had people dressed as the guards, you had people dressed as contestants, you had people dressed as like the main bad guy,
Mhm.
the Darth Vader looking
See,
dude.
I think there needs to be like 2 lists. There needs to be a list of people that actually went out trick or treating costumes
Yeah.
and people that went to bars
And parties.
costumes.
Yeah, I
and
think that's smart.
parties.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
there's got to be a kids division and a grown up drunk division because the grown up
Mhm.
drunk division is basically what I'm reciting.
yeah. I think you're into the adult costume because I did, and I was looking and I was hoping, but I did not see one Squid Games costume last night.
But you were out with a bunch of kids though. And what
But
about
I was
you?
out in the neighborhood with a bunch of parents that were
Right.
dressed up, walking with their kids.
And you also did
I
like
just don't know if Latino culture is started watching Squid Games.
wait a second. Latino culture? You were here in the 1%er neighborhood. Are you suggesting buses were dropping off kids from
To-
lower income neighborhoods to trick or treat at the houses that were giving out full size candy bars?
Last night, dude, if you would have went outside the house,
Oh, I did. I was building a wall
you,
for like an hour.
yeah, you did, and you did a great job.
Thank
I
you.
saw the rocks.
Oh, I thought you were making a Latino joke. You really built a wall?
Oh,
You-
I didn't even put that together. Very well done, James. Yeah, the dog was trying to escape again, so I had to build like Hedron's wall along our fence line.
Hadrian's Wall.
I did. I did. No Roman shall pass. Yes.
but if you would have thought that we were on. Well, let's just. I don't even know how to explain it. You would have thought we were passing out candy at the border.
Okay. Because a lot of kids who didn't live in the 1%er neighborhood were here in the 1%er neighborhood, which is going to be very upsetting to my son who really wanted to come trick-or-treating in the 1%er neighborhood.
Am I wrong though?
Well, here's what you're not wrong about. A lot of police activity in the 1% neighborhood last night. I'm telling you that, first of all, let me just say how wonderful and what a good vibe it was, because I hadn't experienced this level of Halloween enthusiasm since maybe, I don't know, when I was a kid myself. But I would look outside, James, the streets of Highland Park were jam packed with kids, groups of them, and parents. And I mean, it was really festive. It was really like Halloween. And then, that was interrupted every couple of seconds by Highland Park police screaming down Lomo Alto with their lights going, I assume arresting Mexican kids for preaching the neighborhood. I don't know. What was all the police activity about? Was it just individual hijinks, or was there one mass shooting at the Whole Foods at Lemon and Lomo Alto? Because I'm telling you, it seemed like that.
Yeah, I couldn't quite figure it out.
You heard them though, right?
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not lying.
they were flying around.
Yeah,
They were definitely flying around. I don't know. It
I guess
was
maybe kids tricking, egging houses. None of that was happening here.
I don't know.
You don't egg a $5 million home.
I think
it was odd.
I think police departments are used to, on nights like Halloween, especially if it's on a weekend, we're going to get an abnormally high number of calls. So let's just go have floaters out there.
Yeah, and also, if you're driving on Halloween, I stayed out of my car. I wasn't going to drive anywhere. I actually wanted to go to the CVS and get some headache medicine, some Excedrin, because that really works for headaches. But I didn't. I chose not to because I'm like, I'm going to get pulled over. I'm going to get pulled over driving in Highland Park without a state plates on Halloween because I'm going 1 mile an hour over the speed limit. I mean, I remember that when I was working at the pizza restaurant, I had to deliver on Halloween. If you went over the speed, I mean, cops are just and rightly so. You want, when your kids are out in the streets running around at dusk, you want people not to be speeding. In this particular neighborhood, I've said it before, there is nobody that pays attention to speed limits in this neighborhood. Rich people do not go 20 miles an hour ever.
I just sent you 2 pictures.
Emil, you are a big violator of this as well. I have never seen you come down any of these streets at less than 30 miles an hour. And you're driving like a Ryder truck, a truck the size of a small
the speed limit is 30. Like I'm at the speed limit. I don't go over.
Is the speed limit 30?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? Then I might be wrong because I just assumed it was 20. I did.
No, it's 30.
Well,
yeah.
Do y'all know the saying? I really wish I could attribute to whoever said this because it's brilliant. But they say if the only punishment for a crime is a fine, then that law only exists for the lower class, or only exists for poor people, or some variation. So hell yeah, in Highland Park they're going to be speeding. There's a bunch of people worth millions of bucks. Think they're sweating a $200 speeding ticket? Yeah. Just write the thing and let me go.
And I imagine there's a lot of like well-to-do, well-known names here in Highland Park. So a lot of kids get out of tickets, right? As soon as the cop sees the last name.
This is it's a tough police department to walk a ticket. Like, you're going to probably get the ticket and then you go down to the court, and then that's where your dad or your name probably has a little bit of swag. But these cops are they're difficult. I sent you 2 pictures for people to grasp the amount of candy that we had to
that Hadrian's Wall
that Ed distributed quite finely, I might add.
Yeah, look at that. Full-size candy bars at this house. And I imagine every other house on the block too, because nobody wants to be the people giving out the fun size. Nobody wants to be the poor people in the $1 million neighborhood giving out the fun size bullshit.
I mean, we literally had like 2 little Snickers bags left, and that stack on the right where the pole is, those are all like, yeah. Ed went online and had that stuff here same day. And then boom, last night, I think we were on a text chain when people figured out that we were giving out full-size candy bars. I think they just started rotating.
Hey guys, I hate to do this to you. I got to run.
Okay.
All right.
See you later. Thanks, there he goes. Appreciate you stopping by. There goes James. Got to get rid of him. All right. So the costumes that came out at number 1, we already talked about Squid Game. That came in at number 2. Number 3 was Harley Quinn. Apparently a little something for the ladies.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Did you see a lot of Harley
I did
Quinn?
see Harley Quinn's last night. Mm-hmm.
Harley Quinn, it's noted here, has been a top costume the last 3 years running for girls. Although,
well,
I imagine
think
only girls who can pull it off.
I think it's got the chick, slutty, and crazy aspect to it, and so they can get away with it and feel kind of good about themselves.
You know what got an honorable mention in the women's category for most common costume? And you tell me if you saw this anywhere. Slutty Velma. Velma from Scooby-Doo. That was trending all day yesterday with people posting their pictures of really sexy women dressed up as the obviously lesbian Velma from Scooby-Doo. And they were wearing tight sweaters and schoolgirl skirts.
I mean, honestly, I think to me, Halloween is like the chicks' day that they dig because they can go out and dress slutty and nobody's going to say a word because you're allowed to do that on Halloween. And that's why I believe that girls love Halloween. It gives them an opportunity to wear that thing in public that they wouldn't normally wear for fear that somebody go, oh, she's dressed really slutty. But on Halloween, they can get away with it and they kind of go out and feel good about it. I don't know.
Don't you sound like a member in good standing of the patriarchy? Listen to you. We're in the era of Me Too. We're in the era of don't objectify women. I didn't see a whole lot of women running around in like giant Bugs Bunny costumes. You know what I mean?
Never. Why would you go wearing something you're going to look fat in if you're a chick? That's like, they just don't like that.
I posted a tweet last night when I saw the sexy Velmas trending, and boy, did I get into it with some hardcore far left women, feminists, whatever. I blocked like 4 people from the thread. I tweeted simply, women, don't objectify me. Also women, I'm going as Slutty Velma this year. And boy, oh boy, did the ladies get angry with me about that. I'm like, well, it's trending. Slutty Velma is trending. How am I wrong? I am a middle-aged white man who grew up in a different era, who is struggling to make his way in these changing times. I agree that these times are not for me any longer, and that if I want to be someone who proceeds unencumbered by hatred and scorn, that I must in some way, shape, or form change. So I'm trying to change. But Slutty Velma? What are you doing to me here? Are we in the Me Too era? Or is it Slutty Velma time? Because in no point in cartoon history has Velma ever been slutty until 2021.
Doesn't she have kind of like the schoolgirl, school teacher look?
You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to pull up some Slutty Velma pictures. Are you ready for this? Okay, why not, right? Slutty Velma. Let's do it. Hold on. All right. Hashtag Velma. All right, she was here we go. All right, let's see what some of these look like. Let's just scroll. For those of you unfamiliar with the character of Velma, here we go. By the way, for men, the number 1 was Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso, dude with a mustache and a visor. Pretty easy costume. All right, so are you seeing these? There we go. All right, so these are what the, nope, we'll get rid of that. Yep, we'll get rid of that. All right, Velma, here we go. All right. Look at, all right, so there's Velma. That's not necessarily slutty Velma, though.
That looks like maybe like over baggy sweater Velma.
Yeah, this is a Velma who didn't go full costume. She didn't cut her hair, because that is absolutely not how Velma's hair looks. So here, let's see if there's any other slutty Velmas. Oh, here's one.
There we go.
There's slutty Velma. She's good. She's got the hair at least. I'm getting hypnotized by slutty Velma. So let's stop it. All right, there we go. So yeah, there you go. That wasn't even a particularly slutty Velma.
That looked like Velma.
That did look, but the girl you could tell was hot. I think that's why. I don't know. Well, there was no slutty Daphne, or out of the closet Fred with his scarf.
With his ascot.
Yeah, there was probably some stoned Scooby and Shaggy's. Because obviously Shaggy was a weed head. I mean, I think that's pretty.
Last night I made the mistake. I saw somebody dressed and I thought he was Thurston Howell. And
It
so
was
I was
just
like,
resident.
are you like Thurston Howell? And he was like, in his sidekick was dressed as a Playboy bunny. And he kind of looked at me and he's like, no, I'm Hugh Hefner. I was like, oh, okay. But he had like the skipper hat on. Like, I don't remember Hugh Hefner having a skipper hat.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It was with the anchor and all that on it.
Yeah. Here, let's see. Let me see if I can easily pull that off. Hugh. Yeah, that was part of his regular look for a while.
I just didn't know it actually had the anchor and stuff. Like, I thought he had like one of those kind of skipper looking caps. I just didn't remember it being logoed.
Here. All right. This is this is how, when I picture, if I were to do a Hugh Hefner costume, this is
in the silk robe.
Yeah, there you go. See him?
Okay. Yeah, that was it.
You used to wear that thing all the time. See if there are any more.
So I mean, I made the mistake.
There he is with the bathrobe.
Right. Yeah. That's the guy that I saw, but I thought he was doing Thurston Howell.
See, I thought the joke was that it was just a resident dressed normally.
That could be too.
Yeah, he had all the stuff, all the accoutrements handy. Let's see here.
That's the joke over at Armstrong, the middle school. Like, Armstrong has got the oldest dad's club in history.
What is Armstrong? Oh, because they're old and they're all starting their second family.
Yeah. It's like the age gap between the dads and the moms over there is just like, at least that would be interesting if we could somehow get the list and see if they broke our rule.
A lot of the kids are younger than their nephews and nieces, I'm guessing. Right? That's another. All right. And the celebrity who's been anointed the winner of Halloween is, did you see this? Did you happen to see this trending? Steve Buscemi. Steve Buscemi, who is just an amazing actor. If for those of you who don't know, are you familiar with the Steve Buscemi meme, "Hey fellow kids"? Have you ever seen this meme before?
No.
Okay, so this is a scene from 30 Rock from like 10 years ago, where Steve Buscemi was portraying a private eye who was going to go undercover 21 Jump Street style in a high school and try and blend in with the kids. And so, as you can see, he's hey fellow kids, and he's wearing the dress skateboarder, but he's like 60, so his like face is just not pulling it off. So Steve Buscemi seems to have won. Here, we'll pull this up. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, this is it. Steve Buscemi actually but he handed out candy dressed as his Hey Fellow Kids character. And the Twitters went crazy. Let me see if we can find it. Oh, here it is. Okay, can you see it? Look at him. There he is, handing out candy, dressed as his Hey Fellow Kids character. The dude was turned into a meme, and he turned the meme into a Halloween gift. So there you go. He's getting a lot of love for doing that. Okay, let's see what else is trending today. Okay, Christy Swanson is trending. We'll get into a little bit of a celebrity run here with people trending. Are you familiar with Christy Swanson?
No.
Yeah, of course not, because she hasn't been famous in like 20 years. She was the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer in the movie back in 1996, something like that. Beautiful blonde, young Hollywood actress. Kind of had a tendency to be a little, a little bit, was involved. Do you remember when David Spade got tasered Do you remember that incident from like 15 years ago where David Spade was rushed to the hospital because somebody tasered him?
No, but I'm
It
guessing it was her.
No, it was
Oh,
her assistant. It was Christy Swanson's assistant who tasered, who did I say? Did I say
David
David Spade?
Spade.
Yeah, I always somehow conflate him and Dana Carvey. Um, David Spade got tasered by Christy Swanson's assistant because apparently she told her assistant to taser him. Oh no, it was his assistant, but it had something to do. Yeah, Ross Rubio points out it had something to do with Christy Swanson. I don't know. At any rate, Christy Swanson she's been rushed to the hospital. She is on a ventilator and she has COVID, and complications from COVID include pneumonia. She is a vocal MAGA anti-vaxxer who refused to take the vax, and here she is. Christy Swanson's in the hospital with pneumonia due to oxygen deprivation. This is a tweet from her now. I can just read her direct tweet. I'm in the hospital with pneumonia. Prayers for me, please. Yesterday I took an ambulance ride. I'm still here. I'm on oxygen, etc. It's all COVID related, of course. I'm in good spirits and in great hands. So prayers up if that's your thing to Christy Swanson. But she's an otherwise healthy 51-year-old woman, still pretty. She's a beautiful woman. But
Well, I mean, the fact that she's on a ventilator, stats I saw, like, you know,
well, her
not
tweet here
not
doesn't
not
say
in your
ventilator.
favor.
Her tweet here does not say ventilator. It says that she's on oxygen. However, some of the other tweets, this was sent late last night, this tweet from her. Some of the other things, the updates from just people on Twitter say she's on a ventilator. So I really shouldn't put that out there, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you can say anything but whatever. She's apparently in a pretty
I
rough
guess
spot.
being on oxygen is maybe some people's thought like you're on a ventilator,
I guess. Yeah, that might be it. But again, she
but
was
it's not the same.
another one of these otherwise young and healthy people who were ardently anti-vax, who caught it, and it's just hitting them like a ton of bricks. So best thoughts to her. Mark Cuban is tweeting. Our own Mark Cuban here, the billionaire of although he's not even, I got in this argument with somebody a long time ago. Somebody was, he's the richest guy in Dallas. He ain't the richest guy
No,
in
not even
Dallas.
close.
Not even close. What's he's worth, like 3-4 billion? I mean, there are dudes in Dallas worth like 15 billion.
I
20
ain't
billion.
shaking his stick at that. I'm just
No.
saying,
Oh, no.
relative to other dudes here in town, no.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of his worth is that NBA team. I mean, he's probably, without the NBA team, which is worth, I think we said $2.5 billion. Yeah, he's like a 1 billionaire, just if you were to remove the team.
He does have other investments though, besides that.
Yeah. But they probably total about 1 billion.
Yeah. Anyway, he's still very rich.
Which,
stupid rich.
Who the hell are we saying that 1 billion is anything to sneeze at? But people in Dallas who think Mark Cuban is the richest guy in Dallas, whew, I don't know about that. I bet Jerry Jones has more money than Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
I mean, I think his Cowboys are worth more alone than what Cuban's combined Mavericks and outside interests are worth. And this also needs to be, if you're worth $100 million, you are disgustingly wealthy. So let's not shake a stick at only being a billionaire. We're confused by the vast amount of wealth that certain individuals have acquired out there. It's ridiculous.
I mean, if you're worth $100 million, you're 900 million short of $1 billion, which just is crazy to think that there are guys that are worth 5 billion, 10 billion, 20 billion, 30, I mean, what Bezos is now worth.
No, it's Musk who is currently
no, but I'm saying Bezos is now worth 35 million, or 35 billion. That's because he gave 35 billion away to his wife.
Yeah, I think it's more than that, but yeah, he had to give half of it away, and he's still worth an unconscionable amount of money. It's ridiculous. He still has enough money, as we read the article a couple of weeks ago. After giving half of his wealth away, to his wife. He still has enough money to purchase every team in the NBA and every team in Major League Baseball.
I mean, if you're
Every
Bezos'
team.
right, if you're Bezos' future wife, right? You
Mhm.
go in and you negotiate, okay, the prenup is I don't need 35, just give me 1 billion.
Fine with me.
And it's probably fine with him, and it would probably be unreasonable
Next.
for him to get like a girl and not give her 1 billion.
Yeah.
But to think that you're getting 1 billion in a prenup is just stupid.
Yeah, it says 196 billion for Bezos. I don't know where he's getting that because we just did the Forbes list a couple of weeks ago, and I think he was at 140 and then gave half of it away. So, but
Still,
it changes every day with the stock market, I guess. So, yeah, what's the difference between 70 billion and 196 billion? There is no difference. There is nothing that you can do with 196 billion that you can't do with 70 billion dollars. There's
you could probably
nothing.
lose it. Like you could go bet it on something,
I guess.
but short of that, I don't know that you could ever spend it.
Yeah.
You could
I don't have
spend it,
time.
but like not lose the value. I mean, the only thing you could do is like go invest in something like a bet or a stock that would go from whatever to zero. But if you get anything of value, you got the opportunity to resell it for something.
Ed's thrown out some new numbers that do not go hand in hand with the recent Forbes numbers. So that's all I can say is no. Like I said, I don't make any distinction between 292 billion and 100 billion. I don't. So whatever. We're just throwing. Now he's getting angry. Like you need this. Like I need the guy that runs the network to be angered during a show. I mean, just Google it. Well, how about cite your source, dude? How about cite, because I cited mine, Forbes from 2 weeks ago. There's my source. You are just throwing out Google. All right, now we're getting off on a different tangent. Why is Mark Cuban, the lesser billionaire, why is he trending today? Well, he sent out a tweet. That's why. Read the tweet. Boy,
Sure.
did this tweet get some people angry. Mark Cuban. The same people who say the vaccines are experimental ingest supplements that are tested by no one, and they have no idea what is actually in each pill they take. And they, quote, trust supplement companies as valid sources. Crazy. Well, Mark, as you can imagine, Mark took a lot of stuff from the other side of that argument, which I don't know what the other side of that argument is because it's pretty true. Speaking to E now as someone in the supplement business, or formerly in the supplement business, can you share a little bit of light on what Cuban is saying there?
Well,
Aren't supplements
the supplement
unregulated?
industry has been known to be very suspicious in their ingredients that they've put into their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there has been kind of a tightening of the guidelines, and they created companies that were, well, I want to say, I hate to even use the word physician because those guys can be
Well, I think you
crooked
could be
as
honest
well.
because you got out of that business real quick. And I remember you talking about how shady it was and how you didn't want to be associated with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's just, what's in the bottle isn't necessarily in the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say in Abbott, the pharmaceutical companies have much more rigorous standards than the supplement companies.
But, they also warn if you go, as I do, if you go to some of the discount stores and you buy all your vitamins and stuff from there, which, hey, for $1, I'll take 100 vitamin C tablets. They also warn that you're getting a lot of sawdust. You're not getting necessarily, a lot of those are like sketchy fly-by-night organizations, producers. So you gotta be
The
careful with
bigger the
stuff
pill
like that.
doesn't necessarily mean the more ingredients.
So our choices,
Quality ingredients.
are to okay, Ed, we've moved on, but thank you. We've moved. He's now, you know how Ed gets. Now he's drilling down on this. Okay, and at Pillow Talk tonight, I will go back and I will pull up the Forbes list from just a couple weeks ago. There we go. And here, more. He's got more. Do we do this segment now? Do we? No. Okay, so Mark Cuban's taking a lot of crap for that because he's basically calling out the supplement people as being, she's going to keep going. What is his end game here? To win? Okay, Ed, you win. You win. You're the winner. Moving on. Jesus.
Well, he is pointing out that he's been divorced for 3 years. So,
Adam, I'm going to need you to stay after class. Your tardiness will not be excused this
you mean
time.
Adam?
Who did I say?
Ed.
Oh, Adam. Yeah, Adam, I'm going to need. Oh, and he's still firing them off. As a matter of fact, well, you saw.
It's like he's delivering Halloween candy. He was awesome.
I know. Yeah, he did. Hey, he was on Halloween duty last night, and I thought that I had escaped the hard, laborious work of needing to stay by the door and handing out candy to a bunch of kids. I was on dog duty. My job was to make sure that the dog was secured on Halloween, and I thought I had the feather job in those choices until the dog started tearing down the fence, and I had to build a wall of bricks and stones. Yeah. That I had to go and acquire. I had to walk up and down the back alley, pulling up giant 50-pound stones, lugging them 100 yards at a time with a splitting headache.
You built a stone retaining wall.
Well, I was so
without
afraid.
mortar.
There were so many kids. I felt I was protecting the kids in the neighborhood. I didn't want the dog to get out and scare a bunch of kids. As she
is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. When she's fenced in, you would think that she's going to rip the limbs off. And when she's outside, like everybody's like, I found your dog. She's so sweet. They bring her back to the door. And then she's like, oh, you're putting me back in. I'm mad.
Ed says he hates he hates misinformation. Well, then what are you listening to this show for? This show is 100% speculation. Hell's wrong with you?
Or opinion.
Oh, opinion mixed with speculation.
It's even worse.
And misinformation. That's what we do here. All right, so that's why Cuban is trending. Cuban's taking some crap. Cal Penn. Cal Penn is trending. You know who Cal Penn is? You'd know him if you saw him.
It's like, is that a game?
No, it's a dude.
Football game. Cal is playing Pennsylvania.
He's an actor. He's a very impressive person. I'm not going to say actor because he's best known as Kumar from Harold and Kumar.
Okay.
So here, this guy right here. We'll show you just in case you don't know who Cal Penn is. Bingo. There you go. See that guy right there? Cal Penn.
For sure. Yeah.
He's very impressive. I mean, he's been everything from an Ivy League professor to someone who worked in the West Wing of the White House, an actor. He's an author. He's an activist. I mean, he's not just, Kumar from Harold and Kumar. He's an incredibly bright guy, a very accomplished young guy. Why is Cal Penn trending today? Because he's also gay. He has come out of the closet. And this is interesting here. Here's what he says. I discovered my own sexuality relatively late in life compared to many other people. Penn, 44, told People magazine. There's no timeline on this stuff. People figure their shit out at different times in their lives. So I'm just glad I did when I did. So apparently he's only recently come to the conclusion that he is a gay man. And he has announced his engagement to his longtime boyfriend. That's great. Honest, that was weird. It's like she heard the applause. Right. People were there. I like Cal Penn. I like Cal Penn a lot. I mean, every time I've seen him speak, every time I've seen him in something, he's always interesting. I love the Harold and Kumar movies. That's a series of films that I've watched with my son, which maybe I shouldn't be, but I was we both love.
Do you think there's a bunch of ex-girlfriends this morning that are waking up going, "Huh, yeah, that's it"?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think that at 44 years old you just come to the realization that you're gay. I think that at 44 years old, it's more likely that you are confident enough in who you are and standing on your own achievements and accomplishments, of which he has many. Hollywood movie star is like the least of his accomplishments. I mean, he's worked in the White House. He was a member of the Obama administration. He has been a professor at Ivy League universities. He's an author. I mean, he's a smart, well, put together guy. I think that it's more likely that he has always known his sexual orientation. But as some other people in the thread where Cal Penn is trending, he's of Indian, Indian
Mhm.
subcontinent Indian descent. His parents are Indian immigrants. I wonder if uh, that's frowned upon in that, you know what I mean? Like, is that a cultural thing that maybe they react
Well,
worse to homosexuality than? I mean, look, there are very few, very few cultures until recently, anyway, who have been okay with it. White progressive culture is probably the only one that they're like, oh, my gay son. I mean, everybody else, is still like, I don't want my gay or whatever it is. So I'm wondering if there is a cultural thing there. And now at 44 years old, after all of these, he's finally comfortable being public about who he is.
like, or was he having to like ditch the arranged marriage concept,
That, yes,
you
I was
know,
going to go
with
there as
with
well. That is
with
very
mom
common
and
in the show.
dad going, "Hey, Cal, we've
Mhm.
got this beautiful young, lady, and
Dr.
like,
Gupta's daughter is very pretty, and we think you're
right,
joining
and
our
we
two
think you
families.
would be a great union."
Yeah.
And then, he's like, "Well," and then aren't the parents like going, you know, Cal's had this guy kind of hanging around him for a long time.
Yeah, 11 years. They met when he was in the Obama administration.
Right. And he hasn't really been dating. And we've like kind of noticed that, come holiday season, Cal and him are together.
Right.
Like, I would imagine after 11 years, you kind of got to think.
Well, what he says in this People article is that for 11 years since going on the first date with Josh is the guy's name, since going on the first date with him, he's never hid it in his private life. Meaning, if you ran into him and Josh in a bar for drinks, it would be obvious that he was gay. He has just never come out publicly until now because he's engaged and he's
Aren't you
excited.
public when you're out at a bar and you're being gay?
Well, if you're a
Or not
public
being gay, but
personality,
you're having,
that's still your
relations
private
with a.
life. Well, okay, so let's not use the bar as the example. You show up to a party at a friend's house, and that's a private party, and he's there with his boyfriend, and somebody asked, he would introduce him as his boyfriend. What he's saying here is that he has never been public in, hey, I'm going to tell People magazine I'm getting married to a dude. That's what he hasn't done. But he does say that this was the first gay relationship that he was involved in, and it came relatively late in his life after having spent years dating women and doing what was you know normal expectations of a a guy like him. Now here's my question, and Ed brings up a good one here. See, Ed, you get me pissed off and then you win me back. He says, how do you have a longtime boyfriend but only recently discover that you're gay? And that's my whole point. I think he only recently admitted it to himself. I think he only recently felt comfortable being out in the open about it. But I got to imagine that he knew his
Well,
whole life.
maybe did he think all along he was bisexual and then just now has realized he doesn't like sex with women at all, and so he's just straight gay?
Well, now you're going to get me in trouble because I've had a long-standing belief that if you are bisexual, you're just gay and you're willing to do both things. Because
Well, no.
yeah, look, I'm
No, no, I
heterosexual. I
think, well,
couldn't
there's a
imagine.
line. I think there's a line
Mhm.
where you just like females or you just like males. And then I think there's a line where you can go on either side of that, and that's bisexual. But you can try bisexual and then just flip to the one or to the other.
Yeah, okay, so you're saying one gay experience doesn't make you gay. Boy, my friends on the playground back in 1985 would have disagreed with you on that one.
Well, I'm not saying it doesn't make you gay. It
Uh,
definitely makes you bisexual, but I see gay as the choice of the other or the same sex only. Like, yeah,
well,
I
now you
mean,
you said a napalm word there, choice. I don't believe being gay is a choice. I think it's just
well,
what you
bisexual
are.
is definitely a choice.
Is it?
Well, I mean, you can choose to go with a boy
Alright,
or a
we're
girl.
splitting hairs. Yeah, we're splitting hairs here. Yeah, but I see what you're saying. I'm just trying to needle it a little bit. Here's what I think. As someone who is not overly sexual at all, certainly not at this, it's like maybe I need testosterone shots or something, but I never truly have been a sexual being or person. It's never been really what drove me. But I was reading this story today and I'm like, I'm reading about this guy that he's with. I might go for this guy as well. I mean, look, if somebody wants to take care of me for the rest of my life, someone who's got incredible me seems like I didn't see a picture of him, but I have to imagine he's well kept, well groomed. I mean, what is it? At some point, for me, a heterosexual, I love you. I love Ed. I love a number of my male friends. Not romantic love, but a deep caring and an emotional desire to see them do well. That's love, right? I mean, what I'm saying is I could live with a rich dude. If a rich dude was nice and I really liked him, I'd kiss him every once in a while if that's what he needed. I'll do the other things if that's what he needed. It's just an act. Put me in a nice car and make it so that I can be my creative, flibberty gibbet, artistic self for the rest of my life with no worries. I could probably do that. I don't know that I'm ready to do that right now. I don't know. I'll have to wait till my mom dies. Not that my mom has any issue with it, but she's got friends. I don't need her having to explain that to friends. Yeah, I'm just
My
looking out for her. My mom would probably be cool about it. She got her grandkid. She just wants me to be happy at this point. And a life of luxury with some like super rich guy who really likes me, like if he really digs me, like we really connect, like, oh, I love hanging out with this guy. We watch the same shows. Like I said, I'm not a sexual being, so I don't really need the sex part of it. But if he does, all right, we can negotiate. It's just an act. It goes back to the whole thing. How much would it take you as a heterosexual man? How much money could be offered you for you to engage in homosexual oral sex? Is there a number? Of course there is. If you're saying they're not, then you're not thinking right because it's just an act. I mean, I could dig shit out of a latrine for 12 hours if you told me it was going to be worth 100 grand at the end of the day. I mean, come on. It's an act.
Well, as somebody who just watched Deliverance last night, as recently as last night,
You did?
yes.
With your son?
No,
Oh, with who?
with the wife. Late at night, I don't
That's
even know
weird.
how this got on like the channels, but no, there is not a dollar amount. No.
You're kidding me. Well, then you're a homophobe. Then that speaks to
No.
something else. What I'm
No.
gonna give you $1 billion, and all you have to do is finish off some, and then we're not talking about a homeless guy.
No.
We're talking about George
I
Takei.
don't know. It's
You've
just
gotta finish
weird,
off
dude.
George
No, it's just
Takei for
weird.
$1 billion.
I don't
Why
know
is it
that I could
weird?
live with myself.
So
Like, I
why
don't
couldn't you
know.
live with yourself?
I don't know.
Why is the act of homosexuality so disgusting to you
I
in
don't
your
know that
root?
it's disgusting. It's
Well, then
just
why wouldn't you be able to live with yourself?
it
It's just a
feels
sex act.
wrong.
Why does
I
it feel?
don't know.
Oh, you're digging a hole. You're digging
No,
a
I
hole
don't
for America.
know. I like it just like there's some things that money like are not supposed to be there for.
Well, but sometimes it is. Sometimes there is money there, and well, I'm just saying that's where I come down on it. I mean,
And I'm
if
not trying to be macho. I'm just saying
yeah.
like okay, an animal. Like no.
Oh man, I'm not going to look. I'm not going to go there with bestiality.
Well, but I'm saying a farm
But a dollar
farm
sign is
animal.
an amount of money. Is an amount of money for an act. Now, I couldn't murder somebody for an amount of money. That's not something that I would ever. Because now we're talking about a moral conundrum that I'm just not willing to engage in. Like murder or hurt somebody. Actually hurt somebody. How bad? Like, could I take care of them for the rest of their life after I hurt them? Am I going to have enough money to make sure that they're better off before I hurt them? I don't know. These are crazy moral conversations that we have here on the High Noon Show. All right, moving on. Cal Penn is gay. Rust. The film Rust is also trending this morning. Rust is the movie that was being shot that had the terrible incident that killed the young, beautiful cinematographer, assistant director, whatever she was. I believe she was the cinematographer. Killed her when Alec Baldwin's gun went off, killing her, shooting the director. There is a timeline now. I mean, I don't know if you've been following this, but it's all pretty laid out now. I mean, there are really no more everybody's talking. People, eyewitnesses have all given their stories. They're all kind of lining up.
So fill me in. I've lost track of the timeline.
It's what we thought. There were problems on the set. The production was in disarray the morning of the incident. They took a long extended lunch break that went on for 6 hours. They stopped at like 9 o'clock in the morning. And then they didn't resume until later that evening, which is when the incident occurred with Alec Baldwin.
Please tell me they did not go to a shooting range.
They did.
They did?
Well, that has not been confirmed by any authority. What has been is that story has been told by a number of eyewitnesses. So not an authority, but somebody who was there.
Right.
You know
but I
mean?
remember at the press conference, I saw the sheriff like asking anybody who is aware of that to come forward.
Adam Reyna says his number is as a heterosexual father of a beautiful baby. Adam says his number is 100K, but realistically, ain't nobody paying squat for me.
I was just thinking when I read that would make an interesting Lyft or Uber ride.
You and me both, Adam. Yeah. The tip.
Like the cash cab, right? Like cash cab, you know, it's like, I'm here with 100K today, but you got to do it on video.
Jeff Glenn points out that safety standards were ignored almost throughout the production of this. And there were other incidents. That's what's coming out today. There were at least 3 gun incidents on the set of Rust. One actually ended in a prop person shooting herself in the foot in an accidental discharge. It was a blank. So she shot herself in the foot with that wad of, paper that comes out at 1 billion miles an hour that's still going to jack you up. But yeah, that's well here. We'll just see. We'll go into the.
Why didn't that come out? I guess they didn't know it at the press conference.
Yeah. The production of Alec Baldwin's movie Rust reportedly saw multiple accidental discharges take place on the set prior to the one that left cinematographer Halia Hutchins dead. All eyes have been on the set's armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, who had only worked as an armorer on one film prior to leading things on Rust. As she becomes one of the main focuses of the investigation into the death of Hutchins, a new report from the Los Angeles Times indicates that crew members were concerned about her work and that other accidental discharges had happened prior. The Times reports that a total of 3 incidents involving guns being fired accidentally happened prior to the incident involving Baldwin on October the 21st. One involved Baldwin's stunt double firing a blank round after he was told the gun he was holding was cold, which is an industry term meaning that there were no projectiles in the firearm. This is similar to what Assistant Director Dave Howells told Baldwin on the day of the shooting. He also told him it was cold, and then it wasn't. Not realizing that a live round was in the gun he handed to the actor before declaring it cold. The Times reports another shooting involved a woman in the props department. She was handling a gun and accidentally shot herself in the foot with a blank round. This, according to Lane Looper, the A-camera first assistant on the film. Because the round was blank, it is unclear if any serious injury resulted from the accidental discharge. So now look, not, I mean, I used to be an extra. I used to do extra work in Chicago when I was in college. So I've sat around film sets, big film sets, and watched how they played out and just been fascinated by it. By the way, if you ever get a chance to be an extra in a film, do it, because back then I was making $75 for the day, which was nice, for a college kid. You get $75 for the whole day. But the food, oh my God, when they broke for lunch, it was like, what? You mean I could eat as much of this as what? Those are steaks they're making over there. Those are shrimp cocktails. It was insane. Oh my God. I had so much. The best film set that I was ever an extra on that had the absolute best lunch was Adventures in Babysitting, the old Elizabeth Shue movie. Did they have a spread going? So I've witnessed a few film sets and how they go. But I really don't know that this Rust one was the cluster F to end all cluster Fs. Certainly, there was a tragic mishap that occurred on this. But as I've said before, there are tragic mishaps that occur on film sets all the time. Stuntmen die all the time. Props people die all the time. There are falls. There are car accidents. There are all kinds of things. We're getting such a big spotlight on this one because this one involved an A-list actor. That's why. And it was, that. But I don't know that this film set is abnormally horrid. You know what I mean? It's just, this is the one we're drilling down on and getting all the details. This may have been industry standard, especially with indie films where they're cutting corners and trying to
But
make.
I just think, like, if you're going to have a lavish spread like that, you should not be having complaints from people on the set that their day pay or their hourly wage is not appropriate.
What do you
Like,
mean
I think
lavish
that's
lunch
just
spreads?
I think that's
Well,
just
no,
like a
hold on, wait a
slap
second.
in the
Time out.
face.
None of those that I've described were indie films. They were big Hollywood productions with stars. And this was an indie film. This was a little bit, independent production with a much lower budget. So,
But still, I think, like, if you're bringing Subway to the indie film spread, okay, fine. But, like, if we're going steaks and gourmet and cooked, and catered, I think you got to be spending more money on the help and less money on the food.
the first film that I was on was a film called Father Jim, and it never got released. You can Google search Father Jim, but I would Google search Roger Daltrey Father Jim. Roger Daltrey, the lead singer of The Who, he was the star of Father Jim. It never got released. I think it went maybe straight to video or something. But cool film set story. So all the extras, there were about 30 of us, and we were all dressed as dock workers because it was a scene that was taking place at a dock. And when lunch came, Roger Daltrey came over and sat down at the table with all of us extras. And he said, "I hate Hollywood people. How are you guys?" And it was like, all right. He wanted to sit with us. Roger Daltrey, cool in my book, came over to sit with the extras because he didn't want to deal with the, quote,
I hate
Hollywood
people, but I'm trying to be one.
Yeah. Well, whatever. He's Roger Daltrey. They probably gave him a lot of money to do acting. And he's like, "I don't really act, but okay." And then the movie never came out. So everything they spent was just wasted money, just. I think if you were to Google search Father Jim Roger Daltrey, I have, like, years ago, I went, well, whatever. We know Adventures in Babysitting. We know Chain Reaction. Well, what happened with Father Jim? And all right, so that's why that's happening. Rust is trending because now we know that there are a whole bunch of other situations. Okay, here's one. Needle in the candy alert. Needle in the candy alert. Remember the story that we all got when we were little? Check your candy. This is why on Halloween night you sit down on your living room floor and you pour your bag out and you go through all the candy with mom or whomever and you make sure that nothing's been tampered with. It was always because they put needles in candy. To my knowledge, it never happened, but it did this year. Apparently, in Ohio police make demented discovery inside trick-or-treat candy. So, one parent went to the police this morning and showed them candy that had a knitting needle in it. And the kid, they have no idea where the candy came from. I mean, you're a kid, you're just running house to house, right? At the end of the night, there is no way to know. unless they only do one block, then you can narrow it down. But if you're a kid, like, could you trace back any one individual piece of candy from your kid's bag to a house? I mean,
Oh,
unless it
hell
was
no.
right. Yeah. I mean, that's madness. So here, I'll read the story because I have questions about this. I'm gonna come right out and say it. I think this might be the parents of the. I think the parents might have actually stuck again and they're like, "Oh, pay attention to us! Look at this! Clicks, shares, whatever." I mean, I just don't. I don't believe this actually happens. I don't remember any case where I remember the urban legends. Oh yeah, my best friend's cousin's little sister's boyfriend bit into a Snickers bar and there was a razor blade. Yeah, okay, show me the documentation on that. You know what I mean? It's like anybody can come up with a story. An observant child in Ohio made a demented discovery inside their Halloween candy while trick-or-treating over the weekend. Over the weekend? You mean yesterday? Trick-or-treating on Saturday? Alerting police to a sewing needle planted inside a chocolate treat. The tampered candy was distributed in Fostoria, a city located about 40 miles south of Toledo, during citywide trick-or-treating. Oh, on Saturday. It was on Saturday. Wait a second. Is this like a British newspaper? Who would trick-or-treat on Saturday when Sunday was... Yeah, whatever.
I don't know. Well, I mean, we used to have what they called Beggar's Night. That was the night before trick or treat.
Oh, what's that? Tell me what Beggar's Night is. That's interesting. I've never heard of
You
Beggar's
would go
Night.
out the night before
Yeah.
Halloween, kind of make 2 days out of it.
Is this a Buffalo thing?
Yeah, I guess maybe. I don't know. I just remember going out 2 nights. We were more kind of raucous on Beggar's Night.
Didn't people just be like, "Get the hell off my porch. Come back tomorrow. What the hell's wrong with you?"
Yeah, I
Patience,
think it was
man,
maybe
patience.
like you cruise the neighbor. I don't know. I remember we would go out, but we were dressed more like not in our costume, like kind of as beggars.
Police say, although we are only aware of 2 pieces of candy being involved, we take this seriously and are appalled that anyone would be so demented as to want to hurt our children, Chief Loreno said in a written statement. All right, so there you go. But again,
See, I was confused by this week Halloween being on Sunday. I thought a lot of people might call it Saturday because kids had to go to school.
yeah, but Halloween often falls on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I mean, they go to school the next day anyway. How does that?
Wow, yeah.
Halloween doesn't always fall on Saturday.
The bar parties always figure out a way to like make them that
Saturday
Friday or
before.
Saturday night. Yeah,
Saturday
or the
before.
Saturday before.
If Halloween's on Wednesday, the Saturday before is the big Halloween party night. Okay, we're gonna move past that. Okay, how about some football stuff? Derrick Henry, good news for you and your Buffalo Bills. Derrick Henry looks like he's done for the season. The NFL's leading rusher with 937 yards. Henry has 353 more yards than any other player in the league. He also has a league-high 10 rushing touchdown. Busted foot. Might require surgery. Probably going to be out for the whole... Well, I think they're saying that he is out for the whole rest of the season. So there you go. What a shame that is.
I hate to see anybody get hurt.
Yeah, me too. You know what? Is that really... Okay, I'll give you an example. When I was watching my Bears get their ass handed to them by Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, I was watching with my 12-year-old son. And my 12-year-old son, every time they'd come close to sacking Rodgers, my kid would go, knock him out of the game, knock him out of the game. And this isn't just me being a dad. I truly feel this way. I was like, no, man, we don't want that. We don't want to beat them with love their backup. If we're going to beat a team, you want to beat the team at their best. Otherwise, for eternity, they'll be able to say, you didn't beat us at our best. I mean, there is no glory. There's no honor in beating a team because you knocked a player out. Unless you say that you were so strong that you knocked them out. But
a serious injury. But let's be honest. Like, okay, if the Bills got to the Super Bowl and the week before Brady got a concussion and he was going to be fine, yeah. I'd be really kind of quietly happy that he wasn't playing.
Quietly happy. I understand the quietly happy part of it. I understand that.
They're not going to put an asterisk on the trophy that says Brady was injured.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
But I'm with you. I I don't want to
Let's agree
see
to
them
this.
seriously in career ending. Like I don't want to see a career ending or a career altering injury for any player.
Yeah, I mean, look, if we'll use the Packers as an example again. If at some point in the future there is a postseason game like there was a couple of years ago where it was Bears and Packers in the NFC Championship game, if that were to occur again, I would want the Packers to be at full strength. I would want to beat them at full strength. But yeah. If you were to say that Rodgers was going to miss the game, I would be quietly okay with it. But for the sake of you and I, a couple of grown men who are trying to raise young sportsmen, let's keep that part quiet. Let's keep that the inside voice, okay? Let's just try and put it. And that's what I think I was trying to do when my kid was hoping that Aaron Rodgers would get knocked out of the game. I'm like, no, unless you knock them out of the game just through sheer demolition and dominance of your defense. I don't know. It's a sliding scale. So here are a couple of the choices that the Tennessee Titans are looking at. They need a free agent running back. I had no idea all these guys were available as free agent running backs. Trending with Derrick Henry is Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley is the top choice, apparently, among Titans fans. He's apparently healthy, free agent. Although a guy with the talent and resume of a Todd Gurley, for him to still be a free agent and not on somebody's roster somewhere, even as a third back, as an emergency option, that's got to tell me that his injury was enough for the Rams to move away from him,
Right.
So I don't know. So here are the other ones. Adrian Peterson, old as fuck. Adrian Peterson is still available to play for an NFL team. He's still listed as an available free agent.
Well, I mean, I'm sure Marshawn Lynch is on that list too.
No, I don't see him, but I think he's officially retired. And didn't we see him like a couple of months ago or something? And he's real fat.
Yeah, he was
now.
doing well. Yeah, he was doing giving away.
He's done.
He was doing the draft for the Seattle hockey team Kraken.
Okay. So here are the choices. Adrian Peterson, who I said was old as fuck. Frank Gore. Frank Gore is still available. If anybody wants to take a shot at Frank Gore, that
guy that's kept himself in shape and was in the league, I think, as recently as last year, right?
Yeah, it seems like it. I didn't even know he was out of. I mean, Frank Gore is just perennial in the NFL until I die. I imagine he's going to be on a
Hall of Famer for sure,
without a doubt. I think that he's been playing a Hall of Famer, not because he ever had that one season where everybody was just blown away by him, but a Hall of Famer because he's had great seasons for like decades straight.
Yeah, year after year after year after year. That's Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Deontay Foreman, Jordan Wilkins, Kerryon Johnson, Darius Juice, Bo Scarborough, never heard of him. Alfred Morris, never heard of him. TJ Yeldon, Ito Smith. Those are your choices. Yeah, I think maybe give Todd Gurley a shot there in Tennessee. All right. We wish Derrick Henry, who this is bad for the league. I mean, look, not debilitatingly bad for the league, but Derrick Henry is a guy who plays in an afterthought market for the NFL. That is not one of the big markets. That is not Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, Dallas, New York. That is right. That's the middle of the country. It's one of the smaller markets for NFL football. Derrick Henry plays there, and Derrick Henry is must-watch TV. I mean, he's when the Tennessee Titans get put on national TV, it's not because you want to watch Ryan Tannehill. It's because you want to watch Derrick Henry. The guy is a beast as a running back. So
that's for sure. I mean, yeah, he's one of the stars of the NFL. He has a running style that not many do. Todd Gurley, I guess, to replace him would be somebody that I can think of years past that was maybe a Derrick Henry-ish type runner.
Yeah, we tried to come up with these kinds of guys just the other day when Derrick Henry had a big game against your Bills. We were like, have we ever seen a running back like this? And we named a couple of guys. Marshawn Lynch was one of them. I mean, we forgot. The next day I went and I watched Jerome Bettis tape from his days with Jerome Bettis was very much like that.
Christian Okoye
with Kansas City back in the early 90s. So that there have been other players. but I don't. I mean, I think maybe I'm just blurred by the now, but he seems better than all of them. I mean, Derrick Henry, Jerome Bettis was just a battering ram. Derrick Henry's got moves once he gets out in the open. I mean, he can outrun people. I don't necessarily remember that being an aspect to a guy like Jerome Bettis's game. I remember Jerome Bettis being stopped behind the line of scrimmage and then running for an additional 8 yards with the
with
entire
guys
team.
hanging on him. Right.
Right. That's what I remember about Jerome Bettis. But Derrick Henry breaks through that wall of tacklers like
Well,
a
and then he
knight
has that
with
upright
lance.
style. Like
Yeah,
he runs
big
when he
target.
gets through the line, he looks to
Shouldn't
me
work.
not like he's a running back. He looks to me like he's more in the stance of a sprinter, but a big sprinter.
Yeah, everything. Bo Jackson, Ross Rubio points out. Bo Jackson was another one. Probably Bo Jackson is the closest in style to what we see now with Derrick Henry because
Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker was another one. Yeah, man. Georgia era Herschel Walker and New Jersey General USFL version. Herschel Walker never really became that guy in the NFL, but boy, oh boy, does he have a highlight tape from college in the USFL. Bo Jackson, though, is a good one.
Earl Campbell.
Oh boy, now we're really going back. Yeah, Billy Sims.
I mean, yeah.
We're talking about big running back. Now we're showing our age, folks. Now we're going all the way back. But the thing that's just so amazing about Derrick Henry is that the way he runs and everything about him says that he should be a tight end. Everything about him says that he is not a feature back. And yet, here he runs straight up. He's a massive target for everybody trying to tackle him. And
until he puts out that stiff arm and then it's over.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then he's got moves, and in open field, he just has a gear that he hits. That's what Bo Jackson was like. But Bo Jackson was like a bowling ball that you couldn't get down. And then as soon as Bo got into open field, forget about it because you weren't faster than Bo.
But Bo I think people looked at him and took bad angles. It's like there's a way that if a guy's fast, you can still get to him by taking an angle on the field. And these guys are so deceptively fast for their size that a lot of these guys are taking bad angles. And next thing they know, they're behind them, when if they would have given him another 5 or 10 yards with that angle, they'd have got to him.
Do you know who we haven't mentioned in all of this talking about Derrick Henry type running backs? You know who we haven't mentioned?
Who?
And I would suggest anyone who's too young to go to YouTube and just look up Jim Brown highlights.
Right?
Jim Brown was someone that could not be tackled. Jim Brown was a freak show with the ball. Probably the greatest individual running back talent. Well, I mean, a lot of old dudes say that. Other people might say, Barry Sanders or Walter Payton as well-rounded. But Jim Brown was a guy that you just couldn't tackle. He was just, woo. All right, so there you go. That's
Marcus Allen, too. You couldn't tackle him.
Yeah, but Marcus Allen, when I think of Marcus Allen, I think of him more as a guy with moves, as a guy you couldn't tackle because he didn't run right through you. Yeah,
But they would always put him in on short yardage.
Thurman Thomas. There's another battering ram of a running back that we forgot to mention. Thank you.
I still see him a little bit more shifty though too, and more speed. Yeah, I mean his body size was not. I guess where I think we're going is the physical, the size of them didn't correlate to the speed. You look at a Jerome Bettis, you look at a Derrick Henry, you don't think they're going to be that quick.
Yeah. All right, so there you have it. If you enjoy watching Derrick Henry run, yeah, that's unfortunate.
That's going to put a real kink in the Tennessee game plan.
Yeah. Let me. We'll go out with one story here. See, there's a bunch of things that I'm going to leave on the table that we'll have to do for Pillow Talk tonight. There was an MMA fight in Poland that featured a man versus a woman. Guess who won?
Well, just because you're asking me to guess, I'm going to guess woman.
Yeah, the man beat the shit out of her. Just beat the shit. So we'll watch that video tonight.
That would be hard to watch.
It is. Well, here's the thing. I overstated. I will give credit to the referee in the ring. He stopped it before it got rid, but it was a complete mismatch. It should never have been sanctioned. But hey, Poland, I guess they don't have the same kind of rule. It was a hard watch. It was, but
Now, was this a gender male, gender
yes,
female?
yes,
Not
yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
a
Yeah, it wasn't
not a
like a
crossover.
trans person or no,
Okay.
it was a female MMA fighter fighting a male MMA fighter in Poland, and the whole fight lasted about 30 seconds before the ref finally stopped it. We'll watch that video tonight. We'll talk about that. And boy, it was just, I mean,
So should we file our copyright complaint or copyright response now before we watch it?
no, it's a tweet from an individual. Yeah, we're
Oh,
good.
okay.
It's just somebody who tweeted it out. Some rando civilian who tweeted it out. All right, so here's what we'll end on, and it's 2:00. Look, we're going just a little bit late here. I got a busy day in front of me. And maybe we don't end on this. Maybe we share this as well. We were talking about months ago on the Pillow Talk show. You're the list of dudes, swordsmen, epic swordsmen in Hollywood history with dating resumes that just make us all gag. Right? We might have a new one. We might be in the midst of a new epic Hollywood swordsman who is compiling a dating resume that is absolutely unbelievable. Do you have any guess as to who I might be speaking of? I don't get it. I don't get it, man. Women suck. I don't get it. I don't understand how this guy, who is definitely not Brad Pitt,
No
who is
idea.
Pete Davidson.
Oh, yes.
Pete
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that when you say the name, then I'm like, "Oh, yeah, for sure."
Pete
Like, because he's
freaking
funny, dude.
he is amusing. Oh, that's where I'll go with that. And he seems like a wounded bird. Pete Davidson is now hanging out with Kim Kardashian. There they are right there. They almost broke the internet. So
Are
by
they
my
on are they on a fun ride?
yeah, Knott's Berry Farm. Kim Kardashian, Pete Davidson hold hands at Knott's Berry Farm. They're just friends, a source says. You don't hold hands with a friend. Now, they played lovers in a Saturday Night Live skit. There you go. There they are. They're kissing right. How come it didn't move on the. It didn't want to. It should move. Why did? Oh, because I'm using the wrong computer. My dumbass. When Kim Kardashian hosted Saturday Night Live a couple of weeks ago, her and Pete shared a kissing scene during a. How come it still didn't? How come it didn't? How come it? All right, let's try this. Here we go. We'll try it one more time. Is it moving?
Yeah, he's on the magic
There
carpet.
you go. All right. So they shared a kiss. They shared a moment during a sketch. And I remember when watching this sketch, I went, wow, she's pretty cool for letting Pete Davidson kiss her. I mean, that dude's scagly. That dude's been around the block a couple of times. So apparently they hit it
I
off
thought he had just upped it from Ariana Grande
to Kate Beckinsale.
to Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah.
And now
Well,
he's obviously out swinging.
yeah, he's maybe we'll have to do a little bit more of a deep dive into make that bigger.
How very non-Kardashian of her to go to Knott's Berry Farm with the whole Knott's Berry Farm open to others. They have the type of money that they could say, okay, we want to rent the whole park for the weekend or for a night, shut it down.
Let me tell you something. I don't want to go off on, patting myself on the back here or name dropping a bit, but being a friend of Kim Kardashian, I can tell you she is completely misunderstood. She is a nice person. She is a very nice person. I totally see her wanting to go to Knott's Berry Farm with her boyfriend. It's just around.
Yeah, but not with all the general Joe public around.
Well,
Like I
she's got
think
security.
Kardashians are here. We're gonna have a special night for her and Pete, and just pay the fee and shut it down. Didn't we see her and Kanye do that before?
Yeah, but that's more of a,
I
but I
could
can
have
see that being
swore
a
there was that.
Kanye thing. You know, I see Kanye being the guy who thinks he's the Prince of Man. You know, I think that she's a nice person. She is a nice person. My short interaction with Kim Kardashian made me think, she's a nice person. She's not terrible. She explained to me the difference between red and green salsa, and she did it with such a passion and enthusiasm that I was just completely blown away that I'm standing there having this conversation, this human interaction with Kim Kardashian.
Somehow I see you on your deathbed telling that story.
Yeah, well, that's definitely a possibility.
Oh,
All
Kim,
right, folks.
I said goodbye.
Don't forget, folks, tonight we're going to do the Pillow Talk edition of this here show. Pillow Talk edition is at a new time. Oh, let me get rid of this. Hold on. Stop sharing. Stop sharing. There you go. Pillow Talk is at a brand new time. What time is it, E?
9.
Yeah, I say that because we're having a problem. All right, there we go. 9 o'clock tonight. Used to be at 10. Now it's at 9. Hope you all have a wonderful day. It's a grandiose fall day out there, at least here in North Texas. If you're in Chicago or Illinois, as some of you are, I understand it's cold and rainy. So, hey, it's beautiful and sunny. I'm going to go out for a run. I'm going to work on my book. I'm going to try and eat better today, starting today. Now, you promised me there's no candy over in the house, right?
Dude, there's candy. It's just hid.
Okay, keep it hid. I don't need candy.
All right. Well, just don't go in the front closet.
Well, there we have it. All right, thank you, E. I appreciate you joining me every day here for High Noon Broadcasting. And we'll see you tonight at 9 o'clock for a daily wrap-up where it's a little bit more fun, a little bit more wild, a little bit more loose. We'll do the MMA fight thing. It's a whole thing I got to get into. A man and a woman fought.
A moment of joy.
No, a moment of just. What is wrong with the Polish people?
Your moment of joy.
All right. Bye, E. Everybody say bye. We'll leave you with song stylings of America's favorite failed presidential assassin, John Hinckley, as we do each and every day. See you tonight at 9. Hope you can join us. Bye, everybody.